Well, good morning, Lufkin Central and online worship community. My name is Jason Hollinger. I'm the preaching and community minister here, and we are now in video number two of me at home, laid up in bed with infection in my right knee. Video number one was for church service yesterday, and it's it's it feels like it's getting better, but this is kind of still where we are. We're also in a day that the kids are home because, well, it snowed yesterday, and the school district decided to take some precautions, and which I appreciate as a parent. Take some precautions, as it said, for the parents and for the school bus drivers, getting out and into the roads and onto the roads, all those things. And so, I pray that everyone had a great day. For those of you who did have snow, that you're able to enjoy it and just kind of enjoy this bonus day. That's of maybe some 3-day weekend for the kids, kind of rest up and maybe use it as a day to get some cleaning done around the house. But all the same, no, do appreciate those who look out for us and who look out for our kids. And so, big shout out to our school district for our time in Jesus and Coffee. This morning, we're in Daniel chapter 3. Now, Daniel chapter 3 is just an amazing chapter in the Bible, and just if you're you know a lot of the stories in Daniel, but maybe you're not sure where each of the stories takes place. Well, Daniel chapter 3 is as it's titled, the gold idol and the blazing furnace. Starting to ring a bell to you what's happening. You know, King Nebuchadnezzar made this gold statue, and uh, there was this, decree that came down that you're supposed to worship it, and those that weren't, they were going to be punished. And now there were those in that were part of God's people that had been sent to Babylon, that had made this decision not to worship this idol, these idols, all these things, and that made Nebuchadnezzar angry because those three men, as we know them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And what unfolds, and I'm going to start in verse 13 here in a minute, and we're going to read a little bit, issue our challenge, send you on your way for the day. But uh, what unfolds in this moment is powerful, and not just in the outcome, but everything that is done in between. So, hey, let me jump right into it. Daniel chapter 3, we're in verse 13. Nebuchadnezzar became very angry and called for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they were brought to the king, Nebuchadnezzar said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is it true that you do not serve my gods, nor worship the gold statue, the idol, that I've set up? In a moment you will again hear, because they were also going to hear the sound, as it says, the horn, flutes, lyres, zithers, harps, pipes, and all the other musical instruments. And when you heard those, that's when you were supposed to bow down and worship the statue. He said, so in a moment, you're going to have another opportunity for this. It says, but if you do not worship it, you will immediately be thrown into the blazing furnace. And man, just this question that comes up right here, don't go past this. What God will be able to save you from my power then? What God would be able to save you from my power then? And so now Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are in a position of becoming, as what we call in our world today, influencers. And they can become either followers or they can become influencers, and they're about to become some influencers. Verse 16 says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered the king, saying, Nebuchadnezzar, We do not need to defend ourselves to you. I bet you could hear a pin drop, right? A pin drop in that room, or a feather, or whatever, chisel drop, whatever was used. We do not need to defend ourselves to you. If you throw us into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us. Is able to save us from that furnace. He will save us from your power, O King. And I don't think that's a mocking thing that they said. I don't think they're saying, listen, he's going to be able to save us from your power, O King. No, there's still respect that they're speaking with too. Man, an important lesson right there. He says, Les, I hope you're listening, because this is where one of the songs that you love comes from. But even if, remember that song? But even if God does not save us, we want you, O King, to know this. We will not serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and he changed his mind. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Then he commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie them up and throw them into the blazing furnace. So there they went in, tied up, thrown into the blazing furnace, while still wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes. The king's command was very strict, and the furnace was made so hot that the flames killed the strong soldiers who threw them in there. Notice it just mentions the soldiers, not the ones thrown in there. Firmly tied, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell into the blazing furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was so surprised that he jumped to his feet. And I love this. There's another song that comes from this. He asked the men who advised them, Didn't we tie up only 3 men and throw them into the fire? They answered, Yes, O king. The king said, Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire. They are not tied up, and they are not burned, and the 4th man looks like a son of the gods. Then Nebuchadnezzar went to the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come out. Remember I said a while ago they become influencers? Servants of the Most High God, come here. He has gone from what God can save you from this, little g God, to servants of the Most High God. And when they came out, the governors, the assistant governors, captains of the soldiers, and the royal advisers crowded around them and saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies. Their hair was not burned, their robes were not burned, and they did not even smell like smoke. I can't cook out for an hour and not smell like smoke, right? And they're in a blazing furnace and they don't smell like smoke. Nothing about this seems normal. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, Praise the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Their God has sent his angel and saved his servants from the fire. These 3 men trusted their God and refused to obey my command. They were willing to die rather than serve or worship any other God than their own. So I now give this command. Anyone from any nation or language who says anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be torn apart and have his house turned into a pile of stones. No other God, back to little g God, can save his people like this. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the area of Babylon. And just take some time to let that soak in. I mentioned there's another song that comes from this. There's a song by Hillsong called "Another in the Fire." It says, there is another in the fire, and just that presence speaks to that presence of God that's there, protecting us, guiding us, helping us, reminding us who He is. So here's your challenge for today. How can you become an influencer? an influencer that leads others to know God, where you determine that you are not going to allow the little g gods determine your outcome. And you are not going to give your worship, you are not going to give your attention, your focus to anyone other than the Most High God. That's the challenge. That's the challenge that you have. Can't wait to hear how it goes. Have a great day. God bless.